Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you to HackerWare webinar organized by ANA Cyber Forensics Private Limited. For more information, you can visit our website www.anacyber.com. So, starting off, I am Ankit Bharadwaj from ANA Cyber Forensics Private Limited, and today I am going to talk about mobile app security and why it is important for your business. So when we are talking about mobile applications, we know that we have to guard our mobile applications related to our business in our network as closely as we do computers. That's very important for us to survive. Now we are running our mobile apps on different platforms like Android, iOS, Windows, etc. But what we observe here that each and every platform have different interfaces, and we know that Android is powered by Google and Apple powers the iOS, the two platforms that provides the variety of apps that are used by the users and are mostly used worldwide. Even after being available at platforms like Google Store and Apple stores, these big platforms, the mobile applications are not 100% secure. They have loopholes and vulnerabilities that can always open backdoors for hackers and hence can put any business in concern. So we know that this mobile app security, that is another element of the enterprise network that cannot surely be overlooked. The world that we are living in is not the same as before. Except our name, everything changes around us, everything. And in this modern world, we have to follow these changes to be successful, to be at the top, because we want our lives to be fast and smooth, where we can save us some time. So for the fact that internet is used more frequently on the mobile phones, the percentage of mobile phone uses for accessing the internet is different, whether they are operated from the mobile phones or from tablets, whether by different age group people or for different activities. The percentage is very high, as we can see from the slide. We can see from the picture that it has depicted the different age groups of the people using the and the percentage of internet they are using on the mobile phone or on the tablet for different activities. The percentage is very high, as we are seeing in the picture, and we know that anything that's on internet is not safe, not private at all. And as we can see from the picture that the percentage of going online with the mobile phone is very high. So by this percentage of internet uses on mobile device, the percentage of threat also increases as the hackers are becoming more active day by day. So if your organization is mobilized without mobile app security, then you are just sitting around waiting to be attacked, not knowingly but willingly. For all of its benefits, enterprise mobility comes with some significant security risks. Now we are using three types of applications. These are mobile native apps, mobile web apps, and mobile hybrid apps. Native apps live on the device and are accessed through icons on the device home screen. Native apps are installed through an application store, such as we know that Google Play or Apple's App Store. So how does this native app poses risk that is unknown to us? So when it comes to security of native applications, vulnerabilities stand almost same for any platform. Through the exploitation techniques, but tools may differ. So, for example, a native Android app might be storing sensitive data in an SQL like database using local data storage. An attacker can exploit it by getting a shell on the device or by taking backup of the application, as they can access your camera, your GPS, your compass, list of contacts, and so on. The same attack is possible even on an iOS application by logging into the device if it is jailbroken, like insecure local data storage, unintended data leaks, code injections, and many more. Now, web apps are not real applications, they are real websites that, in many ways, look and feel like native applications, but they are not. So, mobile computing is a classic client server architecture because attackers attack the networks to enter in your system through the server. Now we are coming to hybrid apps. What are they? So hybrid apps are part native apps and part web apps. They are mixture of both. So often companies build hybrid apps as wrappers for an existing web page. So they make extensive use of web views, which leave the application at risk if not properly written. So this gives hackers a chance to enter in your system through JavaScript injections where they target weak codes. So we have to focus on the weak links, weak points where there may be chances or possibilities where hackers can take advantage of. So what could be the possible vulnerabilities that encompasses a serious threat? So, be it an internally developed corporate app, a third part app used by your employer for a specific business workflows, or something in between, it probably has vulnerabilities. Some of them, which are on higher concern scale, are: first one, weak server side controls that gives the attackers the chance to breach the network, because if it's on the internet, as I have depicted this before also, it isn't private, it isn't safe. And with the weak server side control attacks, it is meant to happen. The attacks are meant to happen. Now, coming to the next, it is insufficient transport layer protection. So when you design a mobile application, commonly data is exchanged in a client server fashion. When this data is exchanged, it travels across the carrier network and the internet. Now, threat agents can use techniques to view sensitive data while it's traveling across the wire. If the application is coded poorly, so we have to be careful regarding that, because we think that most of the threats may or may not enter through a network, and we think that possibilities of threat attack is negligible, which, believe me when I say this, is not at all true. India has a drastic rise in a mobile application security incidents, which will grow year by year and is growing year by year. Last year, 60% of the mobile devices were hacked in a metropolitan city of India. Do you still think your mobile applications are secure? If you do, then think again. Now, generally, when an application processes any sensitive data in the form of input from the device user, will result into placing it an insecure location over the device. This location is obviously accessible for other malicious apps. Those are currently running on your device. This is a serious risk factor for the device as well as data of user. Thus, user will have to compromise with useful sensitive data by unintended data leakage through mobile apps. Now, poor authentication and authorization can provide the gateways for hackers to inject their threats, and which with much ease, because it opens the door for an unauthorized devices which we don't want at any cost, users and scripts that cannot be identified and blocked, encryption system that are constantly evolving because they are constantly being solved or broken. This is a fact, this is true fact. If the cryptography you are employing is not stable, then it could be broken easily because hackers are very smart. Now, what we have to do that we have to be smarter. Mobile users think that by installing an antivirus app is going to protect their device. But the reality is that having an antivirus is only having the last layer of security. Just the source code review is not going to protect mobile apps for businesses. A proper vulnerability assessment and penetration testing is necessary along with maintaining proper information security cycle. It is very important. It seems interesting when the mobile app developers and business owners launch their mobile apps without following information security cycle. In such cases, apps become vulnerable as new vulnerabilities are arising every day. Day by day, it's increasing. Over the last few years, we have seen that drastic increase in not only the new vulnerabilities, but also an increase in acceptance of information security management system. However, the complexity of threats is still increasing day by day. So the paradox of our times is that we are focusing more on business but neglecting the business itself by not having the proper focus on information security that is required. The paradox is we think we are growing in business every day, but actually we are falling apart. Now, according to the graph shown here, we can see that there is a drastic change from year 2014 to year 2015. And again, there is a drastic change in year 2015 from Q3 to Q4. A new mobile malware threat, which is a hike of 72% from Q3. So these mobile malware threat statistics is quite nerve-wracking. And this setup has all the earmarks of a sophisticated cybercrime campaign and could become a serious issue in 2016 and more upcoming years. So this is seriously the facts to be looked upon. So according to the source, there is an app Pokemon Go that was launched few days back has become the hottest iPhone and Android game to hit the market in forever with enormous popularity and massive social impact. Now Nintendo's new location-based augmented reality game allows players to catch Pokemon in the real life using the device's camera and is currently only officially available in US, New Zealand, UK, and Australia. On an average, users are spending twice the amount of time engaged with new Pokemon Go app than on apps like Snapchat, and experiencing massive server overload in just few days of the launch. So you can imagine the popularity of this Pokemon Go app. The fans of this game in other parts of the world have been downloading and installing APK files to play the game. But some of the APK files are now reported to have been infected with malware, giving hackers backdoor entry into users' smartphone. Some of the third-party APK file hosting websites are said to be packaging the Pokemon Go APK files with malware. Now, these malware are termed as Drawjack or Sandro Rat that gives hackers control of the smartphone. Now, that's something to be concerned, something to be looked upon about, because no matters how famous your app is, if it is not following security measures, it will be hacked at any cost. So now, according to the stats, this is the increase in threats. Now we can see clearly that from April 2014 to March 2016, the threats has significantly increased, and it will be increasing in upcoming years, because these threats are going to be increased in upcoming years, because these threats are the things that many organizations and businesses are neglecting. So these threats are going to increase each and every year if proper security measures are not taken, not implemented. So till now we have discussed that what could be the threats that could affect our mobile system or apps, or what is the possible gateways or loopholes that allows threats to enter into the system. Now we will see that how it will impact your running business. Now, according to the stats that I have shown here, financial losses and intellectual property theft are highly affected, followed by lawsuits, loss of shareholder value, extortion, and many more, which will not only affect the business but will also decrease the morale of an individual, because developing an app takes lifetime experience along with contents and your money. And whereas one information security breach, just one, will take you a lifetime to clean up the after effects. So if you still think that the importance of securing your app is just a myth, because we as a human being always follow the stereotype world, so just think again. It's not the myth, it's the reality we are living in. Now, these are the recent surveys that shows the sectors that are highly vulnerable or threatful, where shopping apps contributing 64% vulnerability, followed by digital code, online ticketing, food ordering apps, and etc. Now, suppose being the owner of a IT company, if you want to launch a mobile application for native users, then how you are gonna secure your app from becoming vulnerable that can invite any hacker with an open arm? How you are gonna achieve your security goals despite of so many established apps that are already vulnerable? As we can see from the figure, answers are many, solutions are many, but implications are few. You have to figure it out. So think about it. Now the question arises that why we need this security, why we need to secure our networks for our mobile apps, because the apps are very small part to be taken care of, but when mishandled it will cause damage that can destroy a whole empire, a total shutdown, because knowingly or unknowingly we do some mistakes that we are unaware of. So think of a scenario when employees pull businesses information from the company server or installs personal apps on their business phones, and the apps are vulnerable. What if the apps are vulnerable? Then the hackers can get inside your business easily. That's for the fact. People lose their phone containing company information could also be the reason for the data breach if your networks are not secure. and many more factors that can become a serious concern for any business. And the effects or after effects could be devastating. This leads us to the topic mobile app security issues, and these issues are very much important in today's world, and how these issues are critical for any business. So, in the wake of the explosion of mobile devices, organizations are increasingly embracing mobile apps as a way to improve productivity and meet employee requests to seamlessly work anywhere. But there is one critical question that many users and organizations continue to overlook. Are mobile apps secure and protected from the malicious hackers as we always wanted to secure it? A large number of companies have adopted BYOD, bring your own devices policies, as may you have heard of this policy, because 55% of organizations now allow employees to use and download business apps on their personal devices. Now, how do we secure the mobile workforce? So these are the four issues that I have mentioned in the slide. Now, building secure applications as a concern arises out of a growing trend of hackers to create fake application versions. Hackers can obtain a public copy of a mobile application, reverse engineer it, place malicious code into the app, and replay it into the market. So, applying security best practices to mobile application development, including the use of source code scanning tools, can make application resilient to such an attack. Attackers using mobile malware don't rely solely on a jailbroken device to facilitate fraudulent activities. This is just a misconception. Users who grant excessive use of permissions to the mobile applications, often by default, can also provide a pathway for malware to basic services like SMS. So enterprise should look into ways to dynamically gauge the security of the underlying device, making devices risk aware. Businesses should develop a selective remote wipe capability to erase sensitive data from stolen or lost copies for preventing data theft and leakage. Mobile apps are built to interact with backend services. For example, mobile banking apps allow customers to transfer money to third parties by using context such as where the access or transaction is coming from, at what time, and the action requested. So these are the facts to be looked upon to be secure. And on the another part, if we will talk about the risk factors, that whether the device is compromised or if the time or location is suspicious, we have to look on these facts. It is possible to prevent or restrict the access to company system and delay transaction execution. So now what could be the possible security challenges in mobile enabled enterprise when we are taking mobile enabled enterprise as a whole? Now with a multitude of different employees working in an enterprise using different devices, there are many risks of a device becoming lost or stolen, as I have discussed it earlier, and because it is for the fact, I will discuss it again and again. And there is the digital security threat of viruses and malware. Moreover, how does a company contend with the conundrum of storing corporate data safely on an employee owned device? The reason why there is such a chasm between demand for mobile apps and ability to deliver is the shortage of skilled resources that code based development demands nowadays. particularly when it comes to supporting multiple mobile platforms that we are doing nowadays and devices, which provide loopholes in the apps and opportunities for the hackers to take hold of your system. We also forget about the fact that during transition, our data should be protected, or we should use third party codes that are malicious and can give access to hackers, because we are using third party codes that are malicious and can give access to the hackers. We know that, who can gain advantage from these negligent gifts that we are providing to them. Now for the figure, from the figure, the statistic shows the prediction of mobile phone user penetration as share of the population worldwide from 2013 to year 2019. So in 2013, 56.5% of the global population used a mobile phone. Therefore, if there are so many users increasing every year using mobile devices and phones, then the chances of vulnerabilities and loopholes increases, and it will always keep on increasing, which can allow unwanted people to enter in your mobile network and can play with it as per their priorities, their needs. In order to solve security problems, you need to know the different kind of threats in your data security. This is very important to know your threats, what you are dealing with. Mobile has become a cornerstone of a global economy. Use of mobile applications continues to grow rapidly. The concept of there being an application for everything has only moved further away from being a joke, the closer towards becoming a reality. Therefore, if we have to face the reality, we have to face the dangers that persists in this real world. We have to be aware about the fact that what are the possible gateways from where our apps could possibly be infected, and what are the security priorities that we need to focus on, that we need to look upon. Now, according to the reports, mobile apps were hacked in a way that produced cloned or repackaged versions. Unfortunately, cloned apps are likely to be more than just mere harmless copycats. They are more than that. Now, separate analysis has revealed that over 50% of cloned apps are malicious and therefore pose serious risks. Now, according to the facts, 97% of the paid Android apps are have been hacked or are hacked. 87% of the paid ISO apps are hacked, and the figures keeps on increasing. Now, when we are talking about free Android apps and free ISO apps, 80% of free Android apps and 75% of free ISO apps are hacked. Unfortunately, numbers are not getting better. The percentage of the top 100 paid ISO apps that have been hacked increased from 56% to 87% from 2013 to year 2014. So just imagine the figure it will reach till 2017 and more upcoming years. To support with an example, I will give you an example where hackers hacked into wallet apps of SBI and Axis Bank, that is Buddy app and Lime app. The hackers obtained bank account details of victims, including mobile numbers. And then what they did, then they obtained duplicate SIM cards by submitting fake documents and also changed the plan from prepaid to postpaid. Now, using that duplicate SIM card, the hackers team transferred amount from victims' bank account number to their own fake mobile numbers using mobile banking apps for these banks. Later, they withdrew the stolen money from the ATMs. As simple as that. So now the second report we will look to from the recent sources that there is a Japanese automobile manufacturer company. We all know that Mitsubishi Motors might soon have to recall over 1 lakh of its Outlander hybrid car, as it has been found that hackers can remotely control the vehicle's alarm system, lights, and battery. So, Mitsubishi Outlander hybrid uses Wi Fi to connect with smartphones. So from there, hackers can gain access through the smartphones and can control your batteries, your vehicle alarm system, your lights, even after taking correct measures. Their application was vulnerable. So if you are living in a world where you think you have taken all necessary steps to secure your mobile apps, you should still go for a third party information security audit to check if your app is completely secure or not. If not, then it is your business reputation which is on stake. So now we understood that securing is a need in today's technocrat world. If any business or an individual is launching their application, they are aware of the fact that they do have competition in the market. So they try to improve the performance of their app, the quality of their app. The, they focus on designing the app to change the look and feel of their app. That could provide an extra edge over their competitors. But what they are not focusing on is the security implications for the application. However, what we forget is to employ any kind of security that I have told you before also to our newly developed apps. So we have to be aware about the fact that designing and launching your app is only 50% of the task. 50% of the task is implying security on your application. This is where we lack. Because for the fact that 127 billion applications were downloaded for free in year 2014, and there were over 11 billion downloads of paid apps. Free apps download volume is projected to grow to 253 billion download, and paid app downloaded volume is projected to grow to 14.78 billion by 2017. So that's quite a figure to look upon, to think upon. So global mobile apps revenue was $25.84 billion in 2013, and it's on the path to reach $70 billion in annual revenue by 2017. So just imagine, with this much revenue that is invested on mobile apps, do we need security? Do we need to prioritize the security in all aspects? So we can be safe in any circumstances, any severe conditions, and just see our business growing. Now, if this much revenue is invested on the mobile apps, consider the possible vulnerabilities that hackers would want to get through your system, which with such a huge amount of apps that are being downloaded and used on the daily basis. Just think over it. Now, to keep a track on your security, to know where you are lacking, I have described a chart that will help you to redefine your security goals. That will help you to know that where you are lacking in achieving your security goals. Now, for the fact that applications that are designed to steal financial data were especially popular, the open source nature of Android allows hackers to find the code behind a popular application or app and recreate the application almost identically, but with a malicious code to inflect the users. This is only one in many of the scenarios that I am describing, because the possibilities are many. So I have described three things to be focused on, that is visibility, operations, and response. So you should have the proper visibility, that what we are looking for, what is our target to achieve, and what are the threats or what could be the possible threats that could be the problem. What are your biggest vulnerabilities, tools and techniques that were used before and what we are using now? All the facts should be looked upon to catch hold of these vulnerabilities. Now when we have that visibility, we should have the right operational process in place to implement our thinking, our visibility, to strengthen our foothold, and to seek the response of implemented operations. Because at last, we always want to be secure by covering the tracks, our tracks, or any kind of backdoors, making it difficult for the hackers to get into the application. That's our priority. Now, mobile security assessment is the need of technology, need of the businesses to be secure and fight from the vulnerabilities. So now coming to the first part, that is application source code review. So an application source code review complements application testing with an internal view of the application's code quality and potential security issues relating to its design. Now, to ascertain an application security posture and improve the security of your organization's overall development practices, it is recommended to augment results from a penetration test with an application source code review. The security relevant application sections are manually reviewed for correctness. Also, where appropriate and possible, the global application is analyzed to check if these modules are invoked, where they should be invoked, and in the correct fashion. Why we as a cyber security company take care of these things. Now, the second type of assessment, that is vulnerability assessment, is a type that will identify known network, operating system, web application, and web server vulnerabilities with the use of some augmented tools. This assessment will only recognize a signature of a weakness and give it a technical risk rating. Now, the higher implementation of vulnerability testing is penetration testing. It exploits known and unknown vulnerabilities over the networks, servers, and operating system. Now, once a vulnerability has been exploited, a penetration test can then show what data can be accessed. For example, if there is a missing patch on a system and exploiting this missing patch gives you access to a system with credit card data, the penetration test frames checks the criticality of the missing patch. A vulnerability assessment cannot do that. So we have to implement the penetration testing for the higher implementation of the security goals. Now, mobile application security training is needed the most in this modern world, and modern threats needs modern defenses. And bringing modern defenses to its best practices to your enterprise is always easy through our instructor-led cybersecurity company, our in-house training. So we do best what we do to secure mobile application of your business. So making the application and getting it approved is only half the battle. Because if you are going live with your application, make sure that you go with full security. because once the hacker gets inside your system, all your hard work, all your money, all your information is at stake, and you will never want that, because when you are creating the best, you have to be prepared for the worst. However, not the total shutdown. Nobody will want that. So, mobile applications and related security breaches receive a lot of media attention. You cannot be 100% safe, but you can make it hard defense in depth. So, for the conclusion, do not make security your weakest link. Make it your knight in shining armor. Because when we are entering in the cave, better prepare for what's coming. So that's all from the webinar. Thank you for attending. ANA Cyber Forensics Private Limited has started data security campaign from the month of June, where we are taking topics on recent information security issues and cases happening in India. So it's very important. We are also organizing seminars and webinars to inform the concern about the same. So if you have any queries, feel free to ask. And if you really like the video, hit like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. That's all from me.